Ravi sir, I think we can wait for 3 to 4 minutes to start
No
the
problem.
program.
Yes, no problem, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Felix. Perfectly
Okay,
audible.
sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Rinku ma'am. Namaskar, and welcome to this FDP.
Good afternoon. Good
Respected,
afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
respected sister.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Good
I'm
afternoon, Rinku.
yes, sister. With your permission, shall we start the program?
Yeah, you can start.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Madhuri ma'am, please go on.
Yes, sir, am I perfectly audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
You
thank
are
you, sir.
audible.
Thank you, sister. You can learn new things at any time in your life if you're willing to be a beginner. If you actually learn to begin like a beginner, the whole world opens to you. A very good afternoon to everyone present over here. I, Professor Madhvi Tarani, on behalf of the St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore, and the Research Foundation of India, welcome you all to this student development program on skills to build confidence. And I feel pleased to take this opportunity to congratulate the St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies Indore and Research Foundation of India for the successful organization of this dynamic and thought-provoking program. This STP is organized by the St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies Indore in association with Research Foundation of India World Conference Forum, sponsored by Agra Edu Academia, World Federation of Science and Technology, California. Before we proceed, let's begin with a brief introduction of the St. Paul Institution of Professional Studies Indore. The Catholic Diocese of Indore has had a meritorious history for decades of imparting quality education at school level. Over the years, there had been requests from the various quarters that diocese should extend its services in the field of higher education as well. The long cherished dream has now materialized in the form of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies Indore since July 26, 2010. SPIPS is a self-financed Christian minority institute approved by Government of India. It is owned and managed by the Catholic Diocese of Indore. It is approved by the Department of Higher Education MP and is affiliated to the Devi Ahilya Vishwavidyalaya Indore. It is a day college where admissions are open to both boys and girls. The medium of instruction here is English. Presently, it offers UG and PG courses. Along with academic excellence, SPIPS wishes to uphold and impart moral and spiritual values to its students. The integral development of personality of the students is the prime objective of the institute, which it hopes to achieve through effective teaching and various co-curricular as well as extracurricular activities. SPIPS aims at promoting national integration by bringing together students belonging to different linguistic, religious, and ethnic backgrounds. SPIPS attaches great value to nurturing the potentialities of its students to enhance their employability. This program has been organized in association with Research Foundation of India. The RFI is a registered organization and JHERF under the Government of India Society Act 1973 by recommendation of all the members of Higher Education and Research Foundation. RFI is strictly working for the social upliftment and the higher education quality and Indian research promotions in the form of events like international or national conferences, seminars, workshops, symposium, and other activities. The Research Foundation of India for Higher Education, a research society, strives to advance knowledge about education, higher education to encourage scholarly inquiry related to education, and to promote the use of research to improve education and serve the public good. RFI works for the integration of intellectual ideas across the globe to fulfill the thirst of innovation of humanity. Research Foundation of India is concerned with improving the educational process by encouraging scholarly inquiry related to the education and evaluation and by promoting the dissemination and practical application of research results. RFI is working for the research and development of the higher education. This foundation was known by the Foundation for Research. RFI members are faculty, researchers, graduate students, and other distinguished professionals with rich and diverse expertise in education. They work in a range of settings from universities and other academic institutions to research institutes and agencies, school systems, testing companies, and non-profit organizations. RFI is international in scope. Nearly 1% of members representing over 15 countries reside outside India. Over 74% of RFI members report that education is their primary discipline. Other disciplines represented by RFI members include engineering, medical, dental, psychology, statistics, sociology, history, economics, philosophy, anthropology, and political science. Now here I go with all the officers for all board of RFI, Chairman and CEO, Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chief Managing Director, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, President RFI, Dr. Rishu Jain, North Board India President, Shri Amit Chand, New Delhi, North South Board President, Dr. Priyadarshini Agnihotri, Central India Board President, Professor Ajay Jain, North Board India President, Dr. Devdutt Indoria, West Board India President, Professor Abhinesh Karosia, National Convener, Dr. Rajat Sharma, Here I go with the officers, MP State for every events of Central India Board and MP State President Dr. Manish Dubey, MP State Convener Dr. Sanjay Prasad, MP Secretary Dr. Parul Sharda, Vice President CIB Dr. Sangeeta Bharuka, Joint Secretary CIB Dr. Subrato Day, Joint Secretary Indore Zone Ranjana Rajak, President World Virtual Conference Forum Dr. Prakashini Tiwari, MP State Vice President Research Innovation Wing Dr. Dipali Ambeprasad, President Indore Zone Professor Kuldeep Agnihotri, President Bhopal Zone Dr. Piyush Soni, Bhopal Vice President Dr. Siddharth Saini, CEO Chapter Head Bhopal Dr. Dipti Maheshwari, Vice President World Virtual Conference Forum Dr. Priyanka Chawla, Dr. Sangeeta Juwari Chapter Head Bhopal, Vice President Research and Innovation Indore City Professor Nikita Sharma, Vice President Student Wing Indore Zone Dr. Namrata Kapoor, Convener Indore Zone Dr. Gaurav Malhotra, Co-Chapter Head Indore Zone Dr. Manisha Pandey, Dr. Priyanka Dubey Chapter Head Khandwa City MP, Central India Board Office in Charge Miss Priyanshu Dubey. For all board, all chapters, all officers, I welcome you all once again to this student development program. Prayer. It fills a man's emptiness with God's fullness. Prayer puts away man's poverty with God's riches. Prayer puts away man's weaknesses with the coming of the God's strength. It banishes the man's littleness with God's greatness. So, to begin this day on a pious note, I would like to invite Mr. Infant Felix for a prayer.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And as an act of reverence to God, I request all of you to kindly join your hands, close your eyes, and be ready for the prayer. Almighty God, we honor your most divine and powerful presence amidst all of us on this online portal. As learning being the purpose, dear Lord, we beseech you for thy help to master the skills to build confidence. In a special way, we submit into thy precious hands the organizing members who initiate this program to enhance our abilities. We offer the resource person of the day, Dr. Rinku Joshi. Let her deliver to all of us the maximum of her knowledge to better the world at large. Seeking your steadfast love and help, we make this prayer in your most holy name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Felix, for such a pious prayer. Now, she is a person who, through her actions, values, and behavior, shows what is possible. She is a person to whom all her employees look up to, and she never ceases to inspire everyone around her. So now I'm very pleased to welcome our modest, loving, and affectionate principal, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, to bid an encompassing welcome to each one of us. Sister, please.
Thank you, Madhavi ma'am. A heartfelt afternoon to the esteemed members of Research Foundation of India, distinguished resource persons, Honorable Director, Reverend Father Simon Dach, and faculty members of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, and dear participants present in this virtual student development program titled Skills to Build Confidence. And God is able to bless you abundantly so that in all things, at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. With this promise of God, I implore the blessings of Almighty on this conference. At the outset, I wish to congratulate the Research and Journal Committee for taking the initiative to enhance the skills of students, ignite the sparkle of knowledge, and make them industry ready. This is the need of our. My dear children, take this student development program as an opportunity to gain prudence and increase your understanding. On behalf of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore, I very delightfully welcome all gracing this student development program. With reverence, I welcome our director, Reverend Father Simon Raj, and acknowledge his committed contributions in all our endeavors of this college. I heartily welcome the dedicated team of RFI. Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jain, Chairman and CEO, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, Chief Managing Director, Professor Ajay Jain, President, Central Board of India, and all other members of RFI. I also would like to appreciate the efforts of Dr. J.V. Vyas, our faculty member, for making this conference possible. Jovially, I welcome the resource person, very respected Dr. Rinku Joshi, Director, Delhi College Business School. I'm sure that today's session would be a fruitful one under her guidance. A cheerful welcome to all the facilitators of today's event, Dr. Vivek Kaushik, Professor Madhavi Tharani, and Mr. Infant Felix. A heartfelt welcome to faculty members and students of SPIPS and everyone present here. I am sure that God's blessings of deeper love, fuller trust in God, and a greater peace of heart is abounding us. Let us hope that this learning will enlighten us, giving the light of truth and knowledge, and thereby fulfilling the real purpose of education. May the Lord bless you and keep you safe and be gracious to all. Once again, hearty welcome to all and happy learning to dear students. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, sister, for your rousing and persuading words. Thank you so much. The greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. He is the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. This and not much else is the essence of the leadership. Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jain, chairman of RFI, is the possessor of such a quality. He strives to bring out the best in people. So now I invite the gregarious Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jain to deliver the presidential address. So please.
Thank you, Professor Madhavi. First of all, as we know very well, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies is going to be organized such a wonderful student development program on skills to build confidence. I would like to say congratulate to St. Paul Institute to again continuously conducting such type of events related to for promotion of student development. I would like to welcome Director Father Simon Raj, Principal Sister Alice Thomas, Madam, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD RFI, today resource person Dr. Rinku Joshi ji, Director DCBS, Dr. Unmeka Tare ji, Mrs. Mini Nair ji, Convener Dr. Ravi Vyas ji, Dr. Vivek Kaushik ji, National Coordinator, Dr. Ajay Jain, Dr. Priyasini Agnihotri, North Board President, Central Board India President, Dr. Manish Dubey, and all officers, chapter and chapter head. That is, again, we are facing the problem related to COVID-19, that scenario. But SPIPS is trying to be convert their mind from pandemic to, for student especially, student development program. So that is the nice initiative by SPIPS for conducting such type of webinars. So again, I would like to say thanks to all the dignitaries and a special thanks to participants to make that event success. So thank you very much. Over to you, Professor Madhavi, please.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating and encouraging address. Now, I take this opportunity to invite Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta. He believes that the secret to doing anything is believing that you can do it. I invite the intense, powerful, and passionate personality, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, Chief Managing Director, RFI. So, may I now request you to bless us with your kind words?
Thank you, ma'am.
So,
Hello, everyone. This is Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD RFI. I feel honored to be invited to this inaugural session of a student development program on skills to build confidence. As has been declared that this is organized by St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies Indore, Research Foundation of India, and RFI-CARE. This is sponsored by JHERF International Conference, Edu Academy INC, World Virtual Conference Forum, World Federation of Science and Technology, ARGA, and Associates. The student development programs aims to provide the most complete and reliable source of information on the recent advancements in the field of skills to build confidence. The emphasis is being given on publishing quality articles, making them available to the researchers and the young scholars worldwide without any restriction. The Student Development Program on Skills to Build Confidence covers a broad range of topics in this field. If you want to be taken seriously, be consistent in your craft, and even when all odds are against you, you wouldn't know how far you can go in mastering a skill or gaining experience unless you strive and give all your effort to achieve them. Excellence is not a skill, it is an attitude. Also, schooling doesn't assure employment, but skill does. Life skills are defined as a group of psychological competencies and interpersonal skills that help people make informed decisions, solve problems, think critically and creatively, communicate effectively, build healthy relationships, emphasize with others, and cope with the manage their lives in a healthy and prosperous way. Monitor your progress. The best way to reach your goals, big or small, is break them into smaller goals. And to monitor your progress is to build confidence. Setting and achieving goals and seeing how far you have come, and key ways to develop self-confidence. Use your personal SWOT analysis to get goals. The National Education Policy 2020 has given a clarion call for holistic value-based education to prepare our youth and develop our nation. Education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Now it's my privilege and honor to welcome all the dignitaries, especially Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Principal, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore. I would like to welcome subject expert Dr. Rinku Joshi, ma'am, Director, DCBS, Indore. I would like to welcome our beloved Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jain, Chairman and CEO RFI, Dr. Ajay Jain, National Coordinator RFI, Dr. Priyasini Agnihotri, President North Board RFI, And I'm also thankful to Infant Felix for his prayer, Dr. Vivek Kaushik, Professor Madhvi Tarani, Dr. Ravi Vyas, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore, and the entire team, RFI and Organizing Institutes. I'm thankful to all who have given their input in this webinar and all participants who made this develop student development program a success. The participants are not those who are sitting here, but the content of this program shall be shared through electronic media and be available for everyone with the permission of the resource person. For more information, you may contact through our official mail info@researchfoundationofindia.com, and you can visit our website for such other programs www.researchfoundationofindia.com. Thanks for your patience. Thank you again. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for your honest and candid address. Today, we mark among us the presence of a very skilled and erudite personality. We really welcome you, ma'am. Now, to introduce our today's keynote speaker, Dr. Rinku Joshi, I would like to request Dr. Vivek Kaushik, convener, CSDP committee, SPIPS. Sir, please.
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am. So very good afternoon to everyone present over here. I'm very pleased to introduce very eminent personality amongst us, Dr. Rinku Joshi ma'am. She is a highly acknowledged academician, a certified trainer by Bosch Foundation and MEPSC under Skilled India Mission. Presently, she is designated as director at Delhi College Business School, Indore. She has effectively taught at postgraduate and graduate levels in the colleges of national repute and with an overall teaching and training experience of over 17 years. Dr. Rinku Joshi has also been a corporate trainer with Destination Outdoor Learning System based at Noida and successfully conducted corporate training programs for Samsung Engineering Lab, L&T Mumbai, Dainik Bhaskar, Franklin Templeton, GlaxoSmithKline, to name a few. She is a doctorate and a postgraduate in management from Devi Ahilya University, Indore. An augmented believer of a progressive attitude, she has recently been awarded with the certificate of National Builder under the Nation Building Initiative by Bosch Foundation. She was recently chosen as one of the only 4 trainers across India for corporate social responsibility on behalf of Bosch Foundation. Dr. Joshi is a firm believer in uphill learning with contemporary scenario, which has been her navigator to achieve her life aspirations. She always ensures that these essential merge with quintessentials life skill and values like integrity, commitment, and transparency in her academic career so far. She is an active Rotarian and currently serving Rotary International as the Assistant Governor for the District 3040. I welcome and wish her all the very best and happy learning to all the participants. I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek, sir, for such an elaborative introduction. Gratitude is the healthiest of all human emotions. The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. So, to propose the formal vote of thanks to this phase 1, I would like to invite the proficient and knowledgeable Dr. Ravi Vyas, the convener of the Research and Journal Committee, St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies. Sir, please.
Thank you, Madhvi ma'am. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation of all abundances. Director of SPIPS, Indore, Reverend Father Simon Raj, respected Principal, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Chairman and CEO, RFI, Dr. Swarup Kumar Jain, CMD of RFI, Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta ji, resource person of the day, Dr. Rinku Joshi ma'am, Director, Delhi College Business School. Professor Ajay Kumar Jain, National Coordinator, RFI. Dr. Priyadarshini Agnihotri, President, Northern South Board, RFI. Dr. Manish Dubeji, President, Central India Board, RFI. Valued participants from different colleges, good afternoon. I, Dr. Ravi Vyas, feel honored and privileged to propose a formal vote of thanks. I express my grateful thanks to our director, Reverend Father Simon Raj, for his illustrious encouragement and leadership to motivate us to conduct such type of student development programs. I feel honored to express my deep sense of gratefulness to our dear Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Principal, SPIPS, as she always motivates and guides us with her kind words. And this student development program was actually her idea that is so very well executed by the team RFI and team SPIPS. I wanted to express my words of appreciation for Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jainji to make us all amalgamated for a great cause, and I hope very fruitful and knowledgeable sessions will be given, with in turn enlighten the brains of all the participants. I express my thankfulness to Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta ji for providing online platform for great discussion, and we will have in coming 3 days. I am thankful to Dr. Ajay Kumar Jain ji for his extended and untiring support throughout the plan of this program. I also wanted to show my gratitude to all of the resource person of today's and forthcoming sessions to wholeheartedly give their kind consent for the greater cause, for upliftment of our students, especially to Dr. Rinku Joshi ma'am, because of her busy schedule, she has spared some important time for all of us, and with her treasure of knowledge, student will be going to benefit. I am also thankful to and appreciate the efforts of Research and General Committee and Career Skills and Development and Placement Committee of SPIPS to design such a resourceful program of 3 days. I wanted to thank all the participants who have registered for making career bright through this student development program. Students, you are having a very great opportunity to listen the experienced and learned scholars in these 3 days. I would like to thank our energetic and committed team of members of RFI and SPIPS for their valuable support and cooperation. For offline support, I wanted to thank Mr. Yogaraj ji for his all contribution at the back end. At the end, I wanted to thank all those who directly and indirectly supported to make this event a great success. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, Ravi sir. Rinku ma'am, your achievements and professional and personal competency are very inspiring. We are very pleased to have you as the keynote speaker of this session today. We are really looking forward to imbibe all the wisdom that you would depart on the topic interpersonal skills. So now, may I request Rinku ma'am to please take over.
Thank you, Professor Madhvi. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are perfectly audible.
Okay. Thank you so much for your kind words, and a very good afternoon to all the dignitaries. To start with, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Principal, St. Paul College, Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman and CEO, Research Foundation of India, with who we are actually organizing an academic conference tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So good to hear you, Dr. Jain, today itself. Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD, RFI, Dr. Vivek Kaushik, the convener. I really congratulate you to organize such a wonderful student development conference. And Dr. Ravi Vyas, who is the convener, and propose the vote of thanks. I would, before I begin, I would just like to ask that are the students going to start their cameras? Because when I'm going to interact with the students and speak upon interpersonal skills, I would prefer that they're live on their cameras. So is it possible for students to come online, active on the video?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Within 2 minutes, I would just like to see how many of you can come quickly online, start your videos. Your time starts now. One, two, three. I could see Sheena, Mastha, Anushka, Chaitanya, Nitya, Menka, Ritik, Samir, and Yashi, Bahiti. Okay. I would really like if each one of the students over here attending the conference online should remain active throughout. I would like to see your lovely faces because I can understand how difficult it would be for all the teachers like us not to see students on campus and then just teaching them online. So it itself puts up a barrier. And for a workshop like interpersonal skills, I really believe that we have to be actively interacting. So be online with your cameras on. Just give me a minute. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good to see the active voices. So I think you're all ready to have the conversational gymnastics and the challenges of effective interpersonal skills.
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you actually find it difficult to be effectively interacting with each other on a daily basis? Do you find it difficult?
No, ma'am.
You don't find it difficult. You find it all okay with you in case if you have to interact with your friends, with your teachers, with somebody who is maybe not actively participating.
Sometimes, ma'am, sometimes.
Sometimes you feel like it becomes slightly difficult for you to behave
Interact.
or act with a particular person. What are such situations are?
Ma'am.
What all such situations are where you feel it difficult?
When I'm unable to explain my point of view.
Okay, so you feel like you have to keep mum and then you are not able to express yourself.
Sometimes,
Why does that happen? Yeah.
Sometimes I found in difficulty to explain my thoughts to the other person
Okay.
because he or she have the different opinion
Mhm.
according to my thoughts, my opinion. So it
Mhm.
might be like we both are fighting on the same topic. So neither I understood what he or she trying to say, or neither I understand. So
Okay, so you're both of you are not able to understand each other's viewpoints, and you result in fighting or maybe arguing continuously with each other.
yeah, sometimes.
Good at
Sometimes it
arguing
happens.
but it comes to speak to an unknown person, and
Mhm.
my point of view on some things, I found it difficult to say the thing.
Okay, so how does it feel in the situation when you're able to express yourself, your viewpoint? Situation number one, and situation number two, where you feel like somehow you're not able to express yourself and you're feeling, piled up within. Which one is a better situation for you? Situation one or situation two?
Situation one.
Situation one.
When you're able to express yourself because you feel light after
Yeah.
expressing what you are thinking, right?
Yes. Yes.
So imagine that in today's scenario where you are working in a corporate and where you end up spending more than 9 to 10 hours of your day in an organization, on a daily basis, you will have to come in contact with so many people at workplace with whom you're bound to communicate your ideas, your thought process. And mind it, whenever we communicate, we don't only communicate the ideas and thought process, we communicate our feelings also. We communicate our behaviors also. And when we do that successfully, it makes us feel like coming up like a winner and not a victim. Victim we feel when we are not able to express ourselves conveniently, comfortably, given a situation, given the context and people who are there in front of us. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
So today, what we are going to discuss is an overview, what you are viewing on the slide at the moment. So we are going to discuss how to communicate to add value. We'll briefly discuss about communication process and communication channels, because I believe that there are management students, but there are students from other streams also in this crowd. So we'll briefly discuss about communication channels and how communication networks are formed and how these two eventually help us in having effective interpersonal skills. How do we need to strategize our communication? How do we need to structure our ideas so that we are able to comfortably and effectively communicate what is there in our mind to a person or to a group of persons, right? And why the mutual understanding is essential in this entire process, that we will discuss, and you will eventually get to understand that why is it essential to have the mutual understanding. So what is actually the correlation of communication with interpersonal skills and with mutual understanding? So as if everybody together with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let us see, let's have a case of Facebook. Yeah. In early 2013, Facebook was the world's largest online social network with over 1 billion users who post over 65 million updates on a daily basis and used to share more than 4 billion pieces of content every week. It has expanded far beyond its American roots, with 70% of users now being outside the United States. The 2012 sales of purchase in the company, it signaled clearly that what had begun actually as a university stunt, it was now influencing how people and businesses behaved online. Do you all agree? Do you all have your accounts on Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
have your
ma'am.
profile. You have set up your profile on Facebook, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
more than probably we communicate on a daily basis, face to face with anybody. We feel like convenience in expressing ourselves online. Does that happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It actually, Facebook at that point of time was moving from entrepreneurial business startup to a mature corporate power. Mark Zuckerberg, who founded the site to allow the users to create a profile. What do you do eventually, right? You set up a profile, you you mention the things about yourself on that, and what do? You actually share your information with your friends and acquaintances, right? It does give you the option, who do you want to share your information with, which means who do you want to communicate about yourself, with your friends, with acquaintances, or with public, right? When,
Yes,
when,
ma'am.
when Facebook was opened in 2004, the site was restricted only to the university or secondary school email accounts. But in 2007, you know what happened? Facebook began to admit members from public also. Mr. Zuckerberg's goal was, and it still remains, to have effectively connecting people as much as possible across the world. Has he been successful in doing that?
Yes, ma'am.
And how he has been successfully doing it?
Because of the people.
But why people are attracted to be on Facebook? Why?
Because they found more interesting to make friends online.
What made it interesting?
After seeing the profile, ma'am, it was
Just the profile.
Because they found people like uh, the point of view match with them.
Yes,
They might be
probably
same.
online they were able to gaze more number of people who did match their wavelength,
Yes, ma'am.
who matched their interest area, who probably
Yes,
they
ma'am.
liked or not so liked, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
how did Facebook do it? Facebook was able to do it by constantly innovating and developing new things for people to do on the Facebook site. Has it been similar the time when you made your account? Or probably
Yes.
more features have been added in it.
Yes, ma'am.
More features have been added on it, right?
Yes.
Just not to have the profile page, but to have the content sharing, then having stories, reels, pictures, videos, messengers, and every other time you would have a new feature added by Facebook where it would help you become the part of an ever widening network across the world. Does it happen?
Yes, ma'am.
We are able to have the friends from so many countries now. We are able not to only the friends but have a constant communication with them. Today, you do not have somebody's contact number, but if he or she is your friend on Facebook, through Messenger, it's so quick to get the contact number or the email ID,
Yes, ma'am.
isn't it? So all such information is a great source of interest, not only to us, to the youngsters, but probably to the people of all age groups. And this is how it became a matter of interest also to certain companies. How did it happen? Users welcome the ability to share the information about themselves with their friends and through their links to become the part of ever widening network. You know, and while Facebook earns revenue by meeting advertisement requirements, it knows that users might object, right? Here you would see the use of Facebook has become so essential for people that all the smartphones now have made FB as a feature, as an integral part of that instrument, right? Facebook has been paying attention to the quality of sites technology, and it has become a dominant global social network since 2004 till date. But you know what? When the Facebook is earning revenue by meeting the advertisement requirements, its users may object to intrusive advertising. Have you read recently about the news coverages where FB has been alleged to breach in the privacy of its users? Have you?
Yes, ma'am.
It
Yes,
has
ma'am.
also to compete with the other online players like Google and Apple for a share of revenue. Other challenge for Facebook is also to sustain the interest of its shareholders so that the major customers may remain with them, and typically the expectations, the information that probably an existing customer or a prospective customer might want could be conveyed to the companies. So eventually what Facebook has been doing was to make working with it easier by devoting its staff to work closely with the selected advertisers, because eventually where does the revenue come from? Where does the revenue come from? We do not pay anything to make the account. We do not pay to Facebook to have any sort of information sharing with anybody across the world. But how the employees of FB would get salary? Because it has to have certain such mechanisms. One of the challenges with Facebook was also to have the issue of privacy and competition, because the moment it starts happening, the US government, European Commission, everybody is eyeing at it to have the course corrective measures. Now, when we are discussing this, what examples are here of people communicating to build Facebook? What examples do you see from the people who are communicating? How they have built Facebook directly or indirectly? Are you the part of it by making Facebook? Have you contributed somehow to Facebook?
Yes, ma'am.
How?
Ma'am, because we find it interesting, and where we met new friends, and somehow our daily friends, daily classmates, where we are not able to express ourselves, or some people are not able to understand. For example, when I meet people, they tell me such things ki that my online friends are better than you. So that's why I'm telling you this. I have not more friends on Facebook, but usually, my classmates are my Facebook friend only. But other, my classmates, they used to tell me that I found more interesting because you people don't understand me, my thoughts, but they understand me better than you guys, better than my parents, and I can discuss each anything with them. So that.
I don't know, you must have observed this or not, but I have observed this phenomenon that at times when we are on Facebook or any other such social networking site, irrespective of that, how close that person is to us or not, we feel more convenient to express ourselves. And at times when you get the opportunity to meet that person face to face, probably people would refrain from talking or even saying hello, isn't it?
Okay.
So this online medium has actually made us feel so convenient by giving our expressions through those emoticons, by expressing ourselves, maybe giving us an option of expressing ourselves in around 70 languages now,
Yes,
isn't
ma'am.
it? We don't feel that constraint of language that we cannot express ourselves if we don't know English. And I think I see most of the youth these days conversing on English rather than just Hindi or just English.
English.
Have you ever thought of how it has impacted our
Yes,
language?
ma'am. Ma'am, it increase our, personalities. It increase our development skills, like speaking skill, communication skill. So yeah, it of course people gain confidence
It does
to
help
do.
you. It does help you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think I have somebody raising the hand. Ban Shelang. Do you want to ask something? Ban Shelang?
No, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, not a problem. So, this is how it happens that we feel so convenient in talking to somebody, especially if it is on a social media platform, right? So, this is how actually Facebook or other similar sites have become a widely accepted tool for mass communication. Because you would agree, yeah, we just not only talk one-on-one on Facebook, right? There are groups also where we are the part of group and we have the flexibility to communicate with that group, and that group could be with any XYZ objective, and we get to know so many people from different parts of the world while we communicate with masses. It has actually represented a dramatic and permanent change in our ability to communicate with each other, right? This is what you were saying, Nitya, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
it's not a permanent change, because change can never be permanent. It is ever ongoing. And this is how we develop ourselves. This is how we intend to develop. If we get to learn, get to read, get to listen to a better language, a better sentence construction, a better presentability aspect, a better interview, we choose to learn something out of it. And if we intend and if we choose to learn, we end up learning. And this is how we grow. This is how the process of growth has been for you, for Madhavi madam, for Kunal, Panushka, for anybody in this world, right? It has not only for us, but it has become a useful vehicle for news and channels of influence also. You would have read in the newspaper that of late even the political parties, because of the COVID-19, then you don't have the chances of public gathering for a large mass of people. People are using social media platforms as a great tool, as a big tool to spread their publicity, isn't it? It is giving platform to so many people like us. It has not only that, there are certain organizations which have raised concerns about security, waste of time, and why organizations in our parents have raised concerns that we keep on at times wasting so much time when we are on social media platforms. Then eventually it is on to us. What do we want to draw from it? What is that positive learning that we wish to draw from it? Because it's a tool. It might make you, it might break you, right? And there are other organizations which would feel like, no, this constant communication is going to be a potential benefit in enhancing connections and spreading ideas and innovations rapidly across the world. So what do you see? The managers who are there in Facebook, they are to face so many communication challenges with their team, with their staff members, like attraction of working at the company with potential staff, ensuring rapid and accurate communication among their software developers, that what more customers are expecting, what do they want, what is the feedback, what are their preferences, what are their likings. They need to understand customers' expectations and also watch for the information on development and potentially competing sites, because they are not the only one. No doubt that they are still leading the market, but there are so many growing competitors. And so does it happen for, if I would say, GlaxoSmithKline, the pharma company. It has to have intense communication between their research teams, clinical trial staff on who the trial needs to be done. They also need to see what the regulatory authorities are exerting the pressures, how the marketers are behaving, when especially they are in the process of developing a new drug. There are service organizations like Tesco, the British multinational grocery and general merchandise retailer. If you will see, they want their staff to communicate ideas and suggestions. They want them to understand the company policy. If you see, for a lower level, even a caretaker, he needs to know for sick and vulnerable what they need to communicate, how they need to communicate, why a more accuracy and challenge is required, why timely information needs to be given to certain sick people because they are more into stressful conditions. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is how, actually, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen? This is how.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is how, despite the advanced technologies available, people continue to experience ineffective communication, because we can never say that we have achieved the target of effective communication. Despite of that, we have got advanced technology, we have got availability of 70 languages, whichever language we feel comfortable in communicating with. We can't ensure that still we are effective communicators. That's the biggest challenge. Computer-based systems, they would provide you the tool. They'll have the keypad, they'll have the internet access, you'll have the clear screen, you'll have a touchpad and everything, but it cannot replace the need for human communication. Company-wide information systems make it easy, geographically separated people to exchange ideas. There are cross-functional teams, there are cross-boundary teams, cross-cultural teams that work with each other on certain projects. But they can exchange ideas. But how they are going to interpret those messages, it will depend on their relationship with each other. And when it comes to relationship, that's what I said, that in communication is just not information. It's not just exchange of ideas. More than that, it is the exchange of feelings. It is the exchange of actions and behaviors. Until people meet, they cannot develop mutual trust and shared knowledge, which is essential for communicating information. And communicating information and the right interpretation can only happen when you have mutual understanding with each other for that given context. Let me go to the first slide where I gave you the overview. Right? Communicating to add value. What's the communication process? How the communication channels are involved? How the communication networks are set up, and how are they leading to interpersonal skills, which depend on mutual understanding of people with each other. Is everybody with me up to here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Does everybody agree
Yes,
with me?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Now let us see how communication adds value, or what value I'm talking about, by the way, here. What value I'm talking about over here when I come to communication.
Value means here what we gain, what we achieve from this communication.
Yes, the intent and purpose to communicate that message, the way I wanted to communicate it to you. So when I asked just before this slide that is everybody with me, I wanted to cross check that did you understand that communication adds value, depends on communication channels, networks, and it leads to interpersonal skills, but also lies an equal importance of mutual understanding. So that mutual understanding is the value that is required during every communication and after every communication. It's not just transaction of information, ideas, and thoughts. It needs to be done accurately and timely. It is transaction of symbols and actions through non-verbal communication. Now, what are the symbols? What is a symbol? Tell me.
Pictorial representation of anything.
Okay, maybe an image. Somebody is entering your classroom wearing a typical dress. It will communicate something to you about that person. Maybe a girl or a boy.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Without words, we understand what she tried to say,
Exactly.
saying to us. Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. And now you're deliberating in a group discussion, for example, maybe a recruitment process, and before the interview, the company has decided to have a screening process based on group discussion. You're talking to somebody in the group, and a person is not actually responding, not looking at you at all while you are speaking. Does this action communicate something to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What does it communicate?
Language is very necessary, but because we can understand someone didn't know by their body language only.
Exactly. You understand, either the person is not able to understand what you are saying, or probably he is not ready to respond to you. Can I just request to mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Either the person is not able to understand what you are saying, or he's not willing to respond, or maybe he's able to understand, but the subject doesn't interest to him much, right? Whatever, but he is able to communicate certain information through his actions. It is also about transaction of feelings and behaviors. It is about conveying an interpretation of messages as intended. And speaking and writing might easy sometimes to us, but it's not that easy to achieve that common understanding, despite of speaking very clearly, despite of writing very effectively. Why does that happen?
In writing, we share our thoughts
Okay.
and ideas.
Yeah.
We can share our feelings, or we can communicate with others how what is feelings inside.
Okay. But still the common understanding doesn't develop.
Ma'am, I want to add something.
Yeah.
Ma'am, while we are communicating, we are writing, we are expressing our thought because we want to, हम वो दिखाना चाहते हैं सामने वाले को, but the body language जो है ना, वो हमें उस जो सामने वाला बंदा है, we can understand exactly कि वो person क्या कहना चाह रहा है या उसके thoughts कैसे हैं. While वो communicate करता है, it's not necessary कि जो रियलिटी है वो सामने आ जाती है.
तो ऐसा क्यों होता है?
Because we have two faces. First, we want to show to the world, and second, we don't want to.
You're talking about the mask?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very interesting thing. I took one workshop on mask which was more on, different roles that we keep playing in our life on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
Right
ma'am.
now, you are Nitya as a student, and after the class, she'll go to the classroom. She'll be a daughter. Maybe she has to take care for the family. Also, somebody is unfortunately sick in the house. Then she'll become a caretaker. Everything
Yes,
is there.
ma'am.
Okay, so mask is okay, but why do people wear mask?
Because they want to show perfectly, fine with to the world, ma'am. Not
Acting?
Ma'am,
they want to hide their, exactly what they want to show. बिल्कुल perfectly they want to show to the world.
They want their perfectness now. They want their. This is the personality.
That's their personality. Oh my God. Yes, that's their personality. Do you think that they're always in that acting role? That they are so good actor as an actor
Yes, ma'am.
that they're able to display those false emotions?
Yes, ma'am.
Many Bollywood actresses are there. In movies, they play a good role, but in their personal life, कह सकते हैं बहुत सारे ऐसा रोल है जो हम उनके चेहरे को नहीं देख पाते हैं. It means that is their personality. कि वो है कुछ और दिखाते कुछ और है.
No, the film actors and actresses are actually into acting. So whatever they are displaying in that particular role is the demand of that role. But
ma'am, real person do this, ma'am.
Real people also do this. Nitya has experienced it. Why do they do? The question is that probably.
Ma'am, they want to show their personality as, perfectly, that we are so good, we are so intelligent, and actually they are not. They want to, behave very well mannered in front of others, but actually they are not. When they,
we can also say that it depends upon the situation. Like they can't behave in the same way in all the situations. If they're at home, they have to behave in a certain way. If they're out of the home in professional world, they have to portray themselves in that way. So that may be the reason.
Yes, very good, Sai Kritika. I agree with Nitya, but I think I'll agree more with you because most of the times, you know what happens whenever you're communicating. You may try to communicate with utmost effectiveness, but there are certain perspectives and backgrounds, perceptions that are there with that person, which probably might affect his ability to absorb the message as intended was given by the speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
It happens because most of the times perceptions are there which will inhibit us to actually interpret the information the way it is going to be delivered. Most of the times it is selective listening, which probably would restrict us to listen to the entire content, but only to pay attention to the chosen aspects of that communication. At times it's the noise also. You must have learned into the communication process. There are certain noises. Sometimes there's a physiological barrier also. Probably today ma'am has told you to be, alive and active in the class, but unfortunately you are suffering with COVID and you have a lot of cold and cough, but then somehow it is linked with your one of the modules. And you feel it physiological barrier, not able to pay attention at all to whatever discussion that's going on in the class. At times it's psychology also. I'm not able to, I just don't want to. Why this session of interpersonal skills? I don't want to laugh. Let it be. I don't want to. So then there are so many barriers which come across in front of the people, because of which, despite of effective speaking or a written communication sent to them, somehow you are not able to achieve that common understanding. It could also be because of the nature of a particular person. It could also be because of preconceived notions about a person. Now, एक धारणा बना ली है किसी के बारे में कि ये ऐसा है, तो अब आप जब भी उस व्यक्ति से बात करोगे, एवरी टाइम दैट प्री कंसीव नोशन इन योर सबकॉन्शियस माइंड वुड बिकम एक्टिव। अच्छा, इनके बारे में बात करें तो अब तो आपका थॉट प्रोसेस जो है वो उसी से गवर्न होगा, right? So this is also one of the reasons that why communication becomes challenging. So imagine at workplace when it is going to be there, it would be so difficult for anybody to act in such situations, and which is why you need to overcome. I mean, that's the demand of the time. You just cannot overlook it. You need to overcome this, and how to overcome this depends upon knowing yourself and in turn knowing others. Now don't tell me मैम क्या बात कर रहे हो, क्या हम अपने आप को नहीं जानते हैं? दूसरों को तो ठीक है, सारे अच्छे से नहीं जानते, हम अपने आप को तो जानते हैं. How many of you know yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you
Yes.
know yourself?
Ma'am, I know myself, but sometimes, it's depend on the situation, ki how to I behave. Exactly, I also don't know.
Yes, you know yourself at times, but situations are there which are probably
जब कंडीशन होती है, हम उन कंडीशन से कैसे रिएक्ट करते हैं, हमें पता है कि हमारे अंदर ये स्किल्स भी हैं, हमारे अंदर ये चीज एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं, ये चीज भी लाइक कर सकते हैं. लाइक जो चीजें होती जाती है उसके साथ साथ अपने आप को और भी ज्यादा हम जानते जाते हैं. हम कंप्लीटली कभी भी खुद को नहीं जान सकते हैं.
exactly. We don't know about ourselves completely, but we can at least begin the process of knowing ourselves. Now, when I'm saying knowing ourselves, I'm not going to talk to you about SWOT over here. No management concept, no gyan. But this is the magic. This is the magic that I'm talking to you today. If you understand this, and if you start practicing it, you will definitely emerge as a winner. Not overnight, but in the course of time for sure, because it's a skill. It needs to be practiced. The more you practice, the more you understand, the more you become adroit at it, the more you gain expertise in it. So are you ready to learn that with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to give you a secret formula. How do you know about yourself, about your nature, about your personality, and also make an endeavor to understand how the other person is to who you are communicating to, so that you can make a strategy, you can make a framework, what to talk, how to talk, when to talk, and what not to talk. Okay, that is very essential for each one of us to know. And I'm not saying only for the sake of job. It is just a minute. It's equally applicable to your personal life also. Yeah, tell me.
मैम, हम जो बोलते हैं वो तो ठीक है, हमें पता होता है कि हमें क्या बोलना है क्या नहीं बोलना है, लेकिन जो चीज हम बोलना चाह रहे हैं उसका इफेक्ट दूसरों पे पड़ना भी चाहिए, वो इफेक्टिव भी होना चाहिए जो हम बोल रहे हैं. तो वो कैसे हो सकता है कि हम जैसा ऐसे कुछ बोलें जो लोगों को इफेक्ट करे?
Have you known the concept of walk the talk?
No, ma'am, not really.
What is walk the talk? I give you one example, very small, general example. There's a family of 3 persons, husband, wife, and a kid. Now, one day on Sunday, there is somebody at the door of the house. The bell rings, and the father says to the child, "Go and tell Papa घर पे नहीं है." And the child says, "Well, Papa आप तो घर पे हो, तो तुम्हें कहाँ जाके बोलो कि पापा घर पे नहीं है." Okay, so the talk was पापा घर पे नहीं है, and the walk was a lie. The walk was a lie. It's not walk the talk, right? Most of us in this world, we always keep feeling that मैंने इसको ये कहा, इसने नहीं सुना, मैंने इसको ऐसा बताया, ऐसा नहीं सुना, इसको मैंने कितनी बार समझाया, ऐसा मत किया करो, बट ये फिर भी करते हैं. But वो क्यों करते हैं? Because he is not going to follow what you are saying in your words. He is only going to follow what you are doing in your actions. And you have also done that. In your life, we could see you also have done the same thing. You have only followed what people have been doing, not what people have been saying. I'm sure you must all be aware of Gandhi ji's story कि जब एक mother उनके पास आई थी कि उनका बच्चा बहुत गुड़ खाता है, right? And Gandhi ji happened to avert that lady that come after 2 weeks. And when she comes after 2 weeks, and then Gandhi ji says, now I can talk to your son. And she asks why. And Gandhi ji says, जब तक मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा गुड़ खाना, मैं बच्चे को कैसे बोल सकता हूँ? That is walk the talk. Yeah. And it's not that easy as it is. It appears to be insane. Because the walk is difficult, so people prefer talking. Yeah. We need to bring our talk into our walk, which means talk into our actions. Make a promise to yourself. If you are saying something to somebody, you will first follow that in your life. Right? Should we move ahead? Okay. Now, very interesting thing. I don't know, madam, do I have the time?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. We can. Yes, ma'am.
Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am. We can continue for 5 to 10 minutes, ma'am.
5 to
That's
10
okay.
minutes. Okay, fine.
Thank
Now,
you, ma'am.
yeah. Now we come to the very interesting concept of understanding oneself. थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी करेंगे. What do you see in this picture?
Know themselves and others. Others.
No, in this picture.
Ma'am, we are
Which
not
is
able
on
to
my-
see that picture slide. We are able to see the previous one of that.
Is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a minute. Are you able to see now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Can you see a
ma'am.
picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Quickly, in half a minute, what are you able to see?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, a girl.
A girl. How old?
Old.
Around 60 to 70 years.
So, please, an old lady.
Yes, ma'am, an old lady.
Okay. Anybody else?
Ma'am, one feather on her head.
One feather on the feather on the head of old lady.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else?
And some creatures, ma'am.
What creatives?
Ma'am, like raccoon or something, ma'am.
Okay. Is there anybody who is able to see a young lady?
Young lady.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ma'am, exactly I don't understand by this picture, but I just see a lady is there.
There is a lady for sure. There are people, if you would see the cursor on the screen, this is the people see this as an eye of the old lady, and this is a big nose, and
Yes, ma'am.
this is the protruded chin, okay,
Yes,
of that
ma'am.
old lady. Now we here do not have much time, but in my previous workshops when I took it for the corporate and all, there were few people who were able to see a young girl also. Now I'll show you how the young girl. Can you see this? This is the eyelash of that young girl. And this is the small nose.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So where the
Yes,
lady
ma'am.
is looking at your right hand side, the young girl is looking that side.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So when you are able to see an old lady and I'm able to see a young girl, it depends on our viewpoints, how we are able to look at a particular picture and what kind of image my brain is able to comprehend. Isn't it? So when I am respecting that, yeah, you are able to see an old lady, you also need to respect that, yes, there is a young girl also in that picture, which means I need to respect your perception and your ideas out of it, and you need to do the same for me. So whenever any such situation is there, especially the confronting situation, we need to respect the other's viewpoints also, in addition to our viewpoints, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now quickly see, when you see this man, what do you understand?
Ma'am, previous picture is there.
That girl's picture.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Oh, wait. I think I might run around the time. Can you see now?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes,
can't-
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you see this man is doing?
Sitting on his desk.
Sitting on his desk and he is in a thought, right? He's in a deep thought. और
Yes, ma'am.
घड़ी में हो रहा है 3:05. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we come to the next. What's the time?
Ma'am, next the same picture is there.
There's no picture for the person picking up the phone.
3:05.
No, ma'am.
Why is it happening? I don't know. Mhm. Can you see now?
No. Yes.
What is now? What is now this man doing?
Happy.
Attending a phone call.
Attending the phone.
Attending a phone call and seems happy.
Time
Yes,
is
ma'am.
also same, means like a little bit.
Time 2 मिनट ऊपर हो गया है,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
है ना?
Yes, ma'am.
3:05 he was in a deep thought.
Yes, ma'am.
3:07 पे he gets a phone call and he is feeling happy.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
और अब 3:10 पे there is some peon who comes to offer him a glass of water, and the glass falls down on his desk.
No, ma'am, we are not able to see that.
Yes, ma'am.
Not able to see. Can you see now?
No, ma'am.
No. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Now
तो अब 3:10 पे क्या हुआ? ग्लास गिरा प्यून से उस बंदे के टेबल पर, and he gets angry that what you are doing. So did you see 3:05 पे टेंशन और डीप थॉट प्रोसेस, 3:07 पे फोन कॉल और एकदम से हैप्पी, और 3:10 पे अगेन एंगर. तो 5 से 7 मिनट के टाइम पीरियड में there were 3 emotions that person has displayed.
Yes, ma'am.
And why does that happen? That happens
Because of the mood swings.
because of the mood swings. And why do mood swings happen?
Because of that scenario is happening with him.
Circumstances.
Because of the circumstances. Which means what? That probably the person is not able to have a control on his external circumstances and getting impacted by it, getting influenced by the external circumstances, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we come to the crux of this session, because I don't think I have much time to elaborate onto personalities, but I would like just to tell you in very brief about the basics of transaction analysis, which is that in each one of us, there are 3 ego stages that are operational at all the time. One is parent, another is adult, and third is child. We need to know in our personalities whether we are more in terms of directing, advising, and taking care of others like parents do. Are we more behaving most of the times analytically, rationally, logically? Then we have got the adult ego stage, which is the dominant part in our personality, or we act like a child, like sometimes an obedient child, or maybe a rebellious child, or maybe a playful child. You need to understand amongst these three what kind of personality you have. If you know, if Nitya probably, for example, Nitya knows that out of the parent, adult, and child ego stage, probably child is the one from which she operates most of the times. Then she needs to understand which kind of child she has in her personality. Is it a rebellious child? नहीं सुनूंगी कितना भी बोल लो जो मेरे मन में वही करूंगी. Or you are like, okay ma'am, if you are saying that, I'll do that. Obedient child or something. What if I add this thing into it, ma'am? That's a little professor. You need to know. If you know that probably you are better able to work strongly with your little professor actively, you should use that as your strength while communicating to people. Imagine how does it help when you know कि नित्या जब शीनम से बात कर रही है और नित्या को पता है कि शीनम की ऑपरेशनल स्टाइल जो है वो चाइल्ड ना होके अडल्ट है. So Nitya should never try to talk to her with child ego stage. She should try to talk to her more rationally. And imagine, then the communication will become so smooth. It won't be a cross communication. It will be a smooth communication because both of them are operating from adult ego stage.
Yes,
this is very interesting, but this is a big phenomenon of transactional analysis, and it is the core of effective interpersonal skills.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think I'll be able to take it in further any time which is left with me, but I'm sure that if you know about yourself as to which particular dominant ego stage you have in your personality, child, adult, or parent, among these three, if you have mix of it, then you need to learn. If it's a child one but maybe a rebellious child, you need to suppress it, you need to minimize it and work with more rationality. Okay, so I don't know, someday if the time would permit, we would might discuss it on at length, but this is a very interesting phenomenon because it does help us stay contented, happy, and spread happiness around us by effectively communicating with whoever comes in our contact and have good interpersonal skills. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you,
You're
Rinku
welcome.
ma'am, for such a
Thank you,
wonderful
ma'am.
session, actually, ma'am.
You are
Yes,
welcome,
ma'am.
Madhuri ma'am. I don't think I could take the entire content, but I'm happy if I'm able to convey some message out of it to the students who were actively participating. And I wish
Yes, ma'am.
you
Not
and
some
all.
message, I would say. Ma'am, not some message exactly. You explain it so nicely. I'm sure that I can see that how beautifully students were able to connect with you, ma'am. That was so good.
I know that I really appreciate amongst the students who were actively participating, and this is the crux, I think, for interpersonal skills to be effective. We know ourselves, we probably better know others also at times.
Yes, ma'am. Once again, I'm really thankful to you for sparing your time with us and taking such a beautiful session, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and wish you, all the students and your team, all the very best for all the 3 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. For the formal vote of thanks, I would like to request Mr. Infant Felix. Felix, please.
Thank you very much, ma'am. At this wonderful juncture, it gives me immense pleasure and joy to express the gifts of Thanksgiving for all the great personalities who have contributed right from the inauguration of this first day of skill development program. In a special manner, and in a very grand manner, I would like to specially express my thankful greetings to Dr. Rinku Joshi, who had been very open in teaching how social media has evolved into our lives, how communication has taken up a great part, and how we need to know ourselves and also others. It has been a great thing, ma'am, that you have contributed, and this day will definitely remark in one of the days of our learnings. Thank you, ma'am. And
Thank
yes,
you, Professor Felix. You actually made us pray very effectively, so I really like that.
pardon me, I'm not professor, I'm a student, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. And I also take this privilege to thank the Resource Foundation of India and the other organizing team who have collaborated with St. Paul Institution of College and have made this initiative a very fruitful and meaningful one. I thank each and every student here who have, with their interesting interaction with the resource person, have made this remarkable day a fruitful and a wonderful one. Thank you very much. And it is said that our values boost up on a double speed when we thank each other for every petty thing. With these precious words, let us have a good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and all the very best to everybody. Bye bye. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much, ma'am.
Nice to meet you, ma'am.
Thank you, dear participants, for your active participation, for your keen participation. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oof.